both the Ambassador Bridge and the Windsor Tunnel registering declines in travel last month. The announcement that Canada has boycotted all flights to and from the United States came as a thunderclap, shaking the foundations of North American diplomacy and disrupting the deep interconnectivity that has long defined relations between the two neighbors. This dramatic and unprecedented move unfolded rapidly after the newly inaugurated U.S. President Donald Trump declared sweeping tariffs on trade partners, Canada being one of the most deeply entwined among them. Canada just slashed 20 million visits to the U.S., costing the American economy $4.30 billion. Do you know how this could impact hundreds of thousands of jobs in the U.S.? We often hear about international relations, but few could imagine one country boycotting an economy as large as the U.S. 2025 will be the year when the American tourism industry faces an unprecedented decline. Canada has decided to boycott flights to America, causing a $4.30 billion loss in revenue from tourists and shopping. Cities like New York, Florida, and Buffalo are the hardest hit, with sales tax revenue dropping by 7%. Not only are stores seeing empty aisles, but even small businesses are closing because they no longer have customers to serve. Key figures: Canada cuts 20 million visits in 2025, $4.3 billion loss to the U.S. economy. Sales tax revenue drops 7% in major cities like New York, Florida, and Buffalo. While planes are still flying, Ryanair and Boeing are seeing massive losses. Ryanair, one of Europe's largest airlines, cancelled a series of Boeing 737 MAX orders worth up to $33 billion. Why? The tariffs imposed by Trump. This not only reduces revenue but also threatens Boeing's existence in the near future. Losing such massive orders could put Boeing in severe financial trouble in the years to come. It's not just Ryanair. Other airlines are scrambling to find alternative solutions as flights get cancelled left and right. This is a huge failure not just for the airlines but for the entire aviation industry, as millions of customers and thousands of jobs are now at risk. The aviation world is facing an unprecedented crisis, all thanks to these tariffs. When you look at the $4.30 billion that the U.S. might lose, it's not just a number, it's a full-blown crisis. Canada has long been an important tourism partner for the U.S., but now Canada's boycott is causing a serious economic collapse. Tourist numbers are dropping and thousands of jobs are at risk. Revenue from tourism, which plays a significant role in the U.S. economy, is now plummeting. And don't forget, the U.S. is also losing $200 million in sales tax from Canadian tourists. This is a major shock to the American economy. Businesses are facing an uncontrolled drop in revenue and customer numbers. Stores, restaurants, and tourism services are feeling the pinch. Companies that once relied on Canadian visitors are now struggling to survive in this tough economic environment. But Donald Trump responded with an apparent lack of concern. Fewer people suddenly who want to travel to the United States. There could be a little, there's a little nationalism there, I guess. Perhaps it's not a big deal. Do you think some people are scared to come here because they hear the stories of tourists who are detained for a few days or even a week or two? We treat our tourists great. We're the tourism capital of the world. There's no place like this. And there may be a little bit of nationalism, but I doubt it. I actually doubt it. And if you think this is just an economic debate, you're wrong. Canadians aren't just opposing tariffs. They're protesting how Trump has treated Canada. The story doesn't stop at tariffs. It extends to border policies that infringe on Canadians' privacy. The Canadian government has issued a new warning highlighting the right of U.S. Border Patrol to search citizens' phones without reason. This has seriously strained the relationship between the two once friendly nations. Canadians, who have long felt ignored and disrespected, aren't just boycotting, they're taking action. They're not just protesting tariffs but actions that go against their rights and the respect they deserve. A recent survey revealed that more than 60% of Canadians intend to avoid the U.S. in 2025, and this number is still growing. The 10% tariff Trump imposed on Canadian energy has led to the U.S. losing 8.66 billion cubic feet of natural gas per day from Canada. So what's the impact on the U.S. economy? Canada, long the primary supplier of oil and gas to the U.S., had to immediately change course when the tariffs were imposed. Instead of continuing to export over 8.6 billion cubic feet of natural gas per day to the U.S., Canada began redirecting its supply to Europe and Asia. This not only disrupted the trade relationship between the two countries but also caused the northeastern states of the U.S. to face gas and oil price increases of 20 to 40 cents per gallon within just a few months. These shocks didn't just affect consumers. They also had a significant impact on industries relying on cheap energy from Canada. Manufacturing companies, refineries, and public utilities in the U.S. faced increased costs, weakening the competitiveness of the U.S. economy. The northeastern states, which had long been dependent on imported natural gas, began to experience unexpected price hikes directly affecting the incomes of millions of residents. Qatar, already a major player in the LNG export industry with the lowest costs in the world, quickly recognized this opportunity. Not only that, the country announced an ambitious plan to increase its LNG export capacity from 77 million tons per year to 142 million tons by 2030, representing an 85% growth. Qatar signed long-term contracts with several European countries such as France and the Netherlands to supply liquefied natural gas, LNG, as a replacement for Russian gas. This not only strengthened Qatar's position in the global energy market but also accelerated long-term partnerships with EU countries, taking full advantage of the disruption in Europe's energy market caused by the post-war energy crisis. Just a few months after the tariff decision was implemented, the U.S. found itself in the midst of a severe energy price crisis. Refining companies and power plants across the U.S. began to face shortages in LNG supply and were pressured by rising prices. As a result, gas prices in the northeastern states shot up by 20 to 40 cents per gallon, increasing the cost of living and pushing consumers into a difficult position. Large companies like Stellantis, with car manufacturing plants in Windsor, Michigan, were forced to shut down and lay off 900 workers. But it didn't stop there. By mid-2025, the unemployment rate due to rising material costs had reached 4,500 workers. A tariff decision that seemed small at first led to far-reaching consequences, pushing thousands of American families into hard times. While the U.S. struggled to find solutions to its energy crisis, Canada didn't waste time. The country rapidly accelerated the LNG Canada project in Kitimat, British Columbia, which is expected to begin exporting 14 million tons of LNG per year by mid-2025. Moreover, Canada didn't stop at just one LNG project. New pipelines are being constructed, such as the Coastal GasLink project, which stretches over 670 kilometers and is valued at 40 billion Canadian dollars. Canada's goal is to export LNG directly to Europe and Asia without needing to go through the U.S. This strategic move helps Canada reduce dependence on the U.S. energy market and expand its natural gas supply to larger markets. However, this shift has led to a sharp decrease in LNG supply from Canada to the U.S., causing gas prices to rise in the northeastern states of the U.S., sparking a domestic energy crisis. The concerning reality is that as the supply of gas and oil from Canada sharply declined, it was U.S. consumers who faced the greatest losses. Gas prices in the northeastern states skyrocketed while electricity prices also surged. Manufacturing and processing companies were also affected, leading to thousands of workers losing their jobs.